Hey friends, my name is Jackson and welcome back to my channel, Gender Not Found. There's a light in my face on the camera. So, I was gonna come in here and complain about how I got scammed out of a tarantula, because I did. The Chilean rose hair that I ordered, it was a scam, unfortunately. Like, the guy suddenly asked for, sorry, hang on. Mm. Anyway, the guy suddenly asked me for like 255 more dollars, and the thing is he wanted me to give it through PayPal family and friends that doesn't have any protection, like payment protection. So like it was a big problem. I already paid $135 through friends and family, which again didn't have any payment protection. Anyway, I'm not ordering them from random people anymore. I've learned my lesson. Like, I'm gonna instead just like order through trusted sites like Tarantula Canada and Tangled in Webs, and I actually just did that. I really wanted my Bihamori, and they had ones that were 1.25 inches, but they had been sexed as male and female, so I went ahead and got one of the female ones. It was $125, so I'm gonna have to take the 150 out of my savings, but I don't really care. And also I can get the money back through PayPal, so I might have some money still at the end of the month, and if I do, I'm gonna put it in my snake fund. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I did in fact have that, and I'm gonna do that and stuff. So, and I'm not sure when the climate action incentive is gonna. I'm pretty sure it's coming in a few days, like on the 15th. So I don't know when that is. I don't like what day that is. So if I can't pay for stuff, then I'll just like not do that. Anyway, I have that, and I also just wanted to say that I've been really stressed out and having a hard time mm, having a hard time with my mobility issues, and that autism group for autistic adults is meeting again, but I can't go anywhere because of my mobility issues, so I can't just go out and do that. Like, I can't go anyway. But and my blood pressure results haven't come in yet, but when my mom called to ask ask Dr. Gerstein about my blood pressure results to see if they'd come in yet, she found out that been she found out that I had been approved for the funding for my top surgery because it costs a lot, but you can get it funded for free if you have gender dysphoria. And anyway, I got diagnosed a while ago, like earlier in the year, and I got approved for the funding, so I'm really, really happy about that. So now we just need to get the funding, and then I'll be well on my way to getting the top surgery that I wanted. And they said back when I originally got diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and they said I was cleared for my top surgery. Then they said it was gonna be sometime in 2025 probably. So I'm really looking forward to it because that's, well, I don't know if it's gonna be like in January of 2025 or like in October of 2025, but that's like mm, that's in 2 years. Anyway, instead of just coming on here and complaining about my tarantula and how I got scammed and stuff, I am going to, first of all, argue the charge because I can still dispute it even if I paid with family and friends. I don't know. So, if I get that money back, then I will worry about it later, I guess. But otherwise, I'm just not gonna worry about it. And, oh, also, when I ordered the Bihamori, I got like a little, you you can pick out another tarantula as a freebie. I could also get mealworms and crickets, but I can get those for super cheap at the reptile store. Anyways, they had like a few freebies that you can choose from, like a few freebie tarantulas, and one of them was a T. vagans, otherwise known as the Mexican red rump. So I have one of those coming too, and it's a baby sling. So I'm gonna clean out Artemis's enclosure because he died in June. Well, that's when I found him dead. I mean, he was probably dead before then anyway. But I I'm gonna clean out his enclosure because there's gonna be a new little resident in there who's also gonna be joining him. So I'm really, really, really happy about that because I finally get like I've been kind of bummed and missing him obviously since he died and stuff, and it's been like it sucked. So anyway, I'm really happy to put a new little tarantula in there. Mm. If I was just going out and buying a tarantula, like, I probably wouldn't choose a sling for a while, but since I could get a freebie anyway, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna get the sling. Anyway, they're a half inch and they're not sexed, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if they're gonna die in a few months. I don't know if they're gonna make it. I hope this one makes it. I would love that. But, I gotta figure out names and stuff, so I don't know if you guys want to comment any name ideas, then that'd be cool. Anyway, instead of just coming on here and complaining about my tarantula and how I got scammed and stuff, I had a kind of different idea, and I've put up a few like short videos over the last couple weeks, but I kind of wanted to do my official return to YouTube, and I wanted to do something kind of big, and I was thinking about just reading a couple chapters of the book, but I had kind of a more interesting idea after I got scammed, and I was like figuring it out and stuff, and then, I actually had a better idea. Anyway, so I actually had a better idea that was that I thought would also make an awesome video. And I decided that I was gonna do a video called 29 Lessons I've Learned in 29 Years. So, I hope that you guys are sitting down for this, and I think that everyone should watch this video. If you're one of my subscribers, I highly recommend that you watch this video. Like, I feel like this is the most important video I've ever posted, I think. So, I would recommend you all watch this video. Even if you're older than I am. Mm. Even if you're older than I am, I still think this is good advice for you to have. I can't stop yawning. That's probably gonna just happen throughout the video. Anyway, so I have like a list here of I had I had to write an entire list, and that was why a couple of days ago I said that I couldn't upload a video because I didn't finish the writing. And then obviously on Saturday I was with my mom, as I am every Saturday, and actually this Saturday we're starting early because she is going to essentially be picking me up early in the morning for blood work. So we're gonna hang out for a couple of hours after that. And then there is um she is going to go to the dentist and stuff, and then yeah, she's gonna be at the dentist for a couple of hours, and then after that I am after we get back from the dentist, um she is going to I mean we're going to keep hanging out and like keep going until I don't know, like maybe 10 or something. I don't know. It's going to be like late into the night, and it's going to be it I mean we were going to do our 10-hour day, but we're going to do as much as we can, and if we can't finish it, then we're just going to bank the rest of the time and do it over the Christmas holidays. That was our agreement because, like, obviously we've had a really difficult time finding time to do just a 10-hour day anyway. And anyway, my mom and I are still talking about what we're going to do for my birthday, even though I know my birthday isn't for almost a year, but we're planning ahead, especially since she signed up for that project overseas thing, which is happening. If she is going, we don't know if she's going, but if she is going, it's going to be during the month of July, so we're planning to like do stuff early. Like we're going to go to Toronto early. We're gonna get my snake early. We're gonna like, and then we're also gonna get some cake that I can stick in the freezer and eat on my birthday since she's not gonna be here. I'm gonna kind of just do my own thing or whatever. Anyway, 20 sorry. 29 lessons I've learned in 29 years. Uh by the way, I went through a lot of trouble to get my Crave account going because I assumed that Fiona and Cake would be on there, and it's not. So, but you know what? I paid $10 for the month, so I decided I'm going to use it for the month, and I'm just going to get my use out of it. So I'm like, I watched a couple of movies, and now I'm watching Friends, and I'm going to watch more movies, and I'm going to watch more Friends, and they have The Big Bang Theory. I'm going to watch that too. So I might as well get my use out of it. I mean, I have it for the month now, and I'm not going to pay $10 just to not use it. So whatever. As soon as I get a job, I'm gonna like pick up all my old restart all my old subscriptions. I just had to cut myself down and only pick a couple because I couldn't afford that many subscriptions anymore. The passport program used to pay for them, but that was like during COVID and they don't pay for that stuff anymore. So I had to cancel a bunch of subscriptions. But it was really nice to have that opportunity during COVID because of my mom and I were just stuck inside and it was so stressful. And anyway, my mom and I watch TV constantly, so like anyway, I should do a whole video on like me and my mom during COVID because I basically lived with her for 2 years. Uh anyway, so let's get this started now because this intro has been really long. So 29 lessons I've learned in 29 years. So don't cheap don't cheap out on cookware or get non-stick pans. So one of the things that I noticed after I moved out, because I didn't have a lot of money for stuff, obviously, so I bought this big pot that was pretty cheap, and after like 3 or 4 days, my food started tasting like iron. It was really bizarre, and I didn't like it. And you guys know, if you guys know anything about me, you know I really love cooking a big meal like once a week, and it'll last me like, sometimes it'll last me 4 days. So I like, I love to make like a really big meal that'll last me for a few days, and I love to like have leftovers, and I love to eat a lot of food, and I love to like, I also love cooking my own meals. Like that's something that I discovered, I mean, when I was younger, but also since I moved out, I've gotten more into it, is like cooking my own food and using fresh ingredients and stuff like that and just enjoying myself. And so and because the pot was really cheap, my food would taste like iron after a few days. And so me and my mom bought like another pot, and we didn't know if it would work or not, and it didn't because my food still kept tasting like iron. So my mom suggested that I cook over at her place because she had the really big pot that was like really expensive to buy. I think she said it was like $180 and that was on sale. So essentially she bought like a huge, really expensive pot. Well, it wasn't just a pot, it was like a huge cookware set and it was expensive. But anyway, the point is the cookware that she bought was really expensive and my food didn't taste like iron after a few days. Um, so then my mom like did some research and she let me keep her pot for the time being. She has her pot back now, but essentially we bought like a really big non-stick pan and or a non-stick pot, and that is working fantastic. Like my food hasn't tasted like iron. Sometimes it'll last me for like 4 days. So it's been great. Like my food hasn't tasted like iron at all. So I love that. That's fantastic. And, now I just have two random pots that I don't know what to do with, but whatever. My mom and I will figure that out later. Anyway, number 28, don't put off until later what you can do right away. So this is kind of an interesting one because a lot of people, they want to, I know I'm a procrastinator for sure. Like, for example, I was supposed to put this video up yesterday and then I didn't. And, I've been really stressed out and stuff, but I feel like um, you should just do what you have to do, I guess, and not wait around for it. Especially, I mean, I guess if it's less important, like, it's not something that needs to be done. Like, I don't know, something that needs to be done would be like if you needed to clean the house, I guess. Or, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, my point is like I guess if you can do it, you should do it and then just get it out of the way. And riding on that, we have number 27, get the bad stuff out of the way early. I know a lot of people are tempted to just like do the fun stuff now and then do you know, do the bad stuff later, like leave it till the last minute. But I don't know, if you have a task like, say, cleaning the toilet, and then you have a more fun task like, I don't know, winding down by watching videos or something, you should clean the toilet first instead of watching videos first and leaving cleaning the toilet till the last minute, because on top of just having the bad stuff out of the way, then you can do the fun stuff to wind down. Like, instead of dreading this thing all day that you gotta do, wouldn't it be better to do it early and then you can have the rest of the day to just relax and do what you want? Number 26, don't let the dishes pile up. And this is something I've only really learned since I was living alone, and I think it applies more if you don't have a dishwasher because my mom has a dishwasher at her place, so I would always just rinse my dishes and put them in the dishwasher. I mean, unless it was something that like couldn't go in the dishwasher or was too big or it had to be washed, like there were some reasons that stuff couldn't go in the dishwasher, but essentially I guess what I'm trying to say is like if especially if you don't have a dishwasher that you should just do dishes when you can. Like I do dishes every single day and they're hard to keep up with, especially after I cook a big meal and I use a shit ton of dishes and then, it's harder. But like I try and do dishes as much as I can and I'm doing dishes like every single day pretty much. Um and I tend not to want to leave them. I tend to try not to leave them. Anyway, number 25, put money away in savings for emergencies. You never know when something's gonna come up. Maybe something breaks, maybe you need a new computer, maybe, I don't know, something suddenly stops working that's really important. Like, I've had an issue in the past where my computer suddenly stopped working and I had to buy a new one. I'm lucky because, Passport is still paying for technology of up to $3,000, so if my computer breaks, for example, they'll pay for a new one as long as it's under $3,000, which shouldn't be a problem because I've never spent more than like $500 on a computer.
Well,
Anyway, but like, you never know what's gonna happen, and it's always good to be prepared. Have cash on you at all times. What the fuck? Have cash. Sorry, just something just popped up on the screen. Have cash on you at all times. So, this is kind of riding on the last one, essentially, which, you never know what's gonna happen. You should always have cash on you. I learned this by the debit machine not working at the movies, not once, but twice within a couple of months of each other, and now I always carry around $40 in cash in case, like, I don't know, I have a problem where the debit machine stops working at the movies, or maybe I have another issue. Like maybe I need to get some groceries and I don't have anything left in my account. Maybe I have to use my emergency cash for something else. I don't know. Always have a vet fund for your pets. And yes, it's really important to do the whole money thing anyway, but especially if you have an animal, I mean, like, people, so I posted a ton of places that I was saving up $1,200 so I could get a Kenyan sand boa, and people keep asking me why I'm saving up so much money. They're all like, "Oh, I can go to the pet store and get a snake for like $100 right now," and I'm like, "Okay." But they need, and then I have to sit there and explain and answer everyone's freaking comments, explaining that they need to go to the vet and I want to have some money set aside for vet bills. I mean, and also there's the enclosure that they need to live in. Like, it's not just like you can go out and buy a snake. I need an enclosure, I need decorations, I need stuff for them. Like, it's not as simple as, and I'm actually buying the coffee table that I'm using right now that my computer is on. I'm buying the exact same one to put in that corner. It's like the perfect size for a 40-gallon tank, which is what a Kenyan sand boa needs. So I'm gonna put another coffee table in that corner, and then I'm gonna buy the 40-gallon tank, and that's what my Kenyan sand boa is gonna live on. And it's gonna be fantastic. And I just think it's a good idea to have money set aside for vet bills for your pets. Like, when I have my rats, for example, they like Mocha had allergies, and I had to bring him back and forth to the vet a couple of times, and it cost me hundreds of dollars. So yeah, and exotic vets are kind of expensive, and especially like if they have something really wrong with them, like I don't know, they need a surgery or something. Like, what if my snake needs a surgery? I mean, I'm guessing it's very unlikely that I'll get sick, but like, just in case, it's better to have money there if that happens, and be prepared for them, instead of just, oh, well, they're sick and I can't pay for it, so, I can't do anything about it. Anyway, and it's just like really frustrating. And then, and also I told you that the family dog had cancer, and, they got the tumor cut out, and then a few years later it came back, and, the second time he didn't make it, and that was in 2020, so. You can number 22, you can always get more money, but you can't get more time. Yeah, another money related one, but basically what it should be. Yeah, you can always get more money. They're always printing more money, but you can never get more time. Like, the time on this earth is the time you have on this earth. So spend it wisely, spend it with the people you love, do what you enjoy, don't put things off. Just like have a good time, enjoy your life, you know, I mean, I'm sure you'll have regrets at the end. Everyone has regrets of things, of like, oh, well, I did this bad thing and I shouldn't have done that, or like, I I regret this thing I never did. We just don't have enough time on this earth. We really don't. So, just, I guess, make the most out of it. Like, enjoy your life the way you want. Number 21, treasure your loved ones. Yeah, this one's pretty important. And I've lost a few people in my lifetime, so it's been a freaking bummer. The first one who died was my great grandmother, and then there was my Aunt Sandy, and in 2020 there was my cousin Vi. Luckily, this was like a couple weeks before COVID happened, so I was actually able to attend the funeral. Thankfully, I only met her like once, but it was still really upsetting. Uh, Number 20, you can have social media, just don't obsess over it or make it your whole life. Like, there are so many people who are constantly obsessed over getting the perfect picture for social media, or like putting all kinds of filters, or like, oh my god, I have to update my social media 10 million times a day. Like, I I know I'm kind of on social media, but I kind of use it more casually, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't obsess over it or worry about it, but like, my I'm usually mainly on Facebook to like just keep up with family stuff. Like, I'll post on Facebook a lot, but like, it's not a big deal. I don't worry about it constantly or whatever. I mean, kind of hard to do, but yeah, you should not have to worry about it constantly. Okay, so I have to plug in my damn laptop. Okay. Anyway, anyway, yeah. So if you're if you're on social media, just don't like be completely freaked out over it. Also, I don't agree with people who put their kids out there on social media, like whether it's baby pictures or, having a YouTube family channel. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but Ruby Frank was recently arrested for all the shit that happened on her family channel, all the abuse and stuff. It was really fucked up. And all the stuff that I found out was like really messed up. Like, for example, she took her kid's bed away and made him sleep on the floor, and she would like take meals away from her children as a punishment, which I guess happened a lot more in the past, but I've never been okay with that. I personally wouldn't do it, and I don't think it's right to do that. And there was like a lot of other messed up stuff that I don't even want to get into right now. But yeah, I don't agree with people who do family channels on YouTube, so and that's actually why I stopped watching the Noise Nuts too. Like, I mean, I thought they were fine when I was younger because, like, oh, well, they're not abusing the kids or whatever. But the more I looked into family channels as a whole, the more weird it got. And, like, I just don't agree with those family channels that record everything, like, especially when their children are crying or sick or whatever. Like, I think that's really messed up to record that and put that out there on YouTube. Just the fact that half these family channels have their thumbnails or like their kids crying or whatever. I don't know. It just gives me a really off feeling and I don't like it. So if you're one of those people, I hope you never if you're like if you're thinking about having a family channel on YouTube, I hope you really consider how that's going to make your kids feel. Like, that's the other thing. Kids can't exactly give consent to do that kind of stuff. Like, that's why that's why the YouTube guidelines say nobody under 13 is allowed on YouTube because I don't know, it's just all very off and weird to me, and I just feel like kids can't, or at least shouldn't be able to give consent to that sort of thing. Like, how are the kids gonna feel in like 10 years when they're in their 20s and they're looking back at all those videos their family made about them, crying on camera and stuff? Like, then was nuts have really have these videos where their kids are all upset and there's this one kid that's really sick and some of the videos are just chronicling her sickness. Like, a lot of the videos are just chronicling her sickness. Ugh, it just makes me feel weird and wrong. Number 19, it's never too late to accomplish the things you want to accomplish. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s or in your 50s. If you want to do something, you should go out and do it. Like, I'm, I haven't even finished a book yet and I'm 29. Technically, I have finished a book, I guess, when I was a kid, but I haven't got the chance to edit it yet. But hopefully I will soon. I have to check with my mom on that anyway, but, I am going to be editing the book. That's one of the big things that's supposedly happening this year. So, anyway, I am thinking about that, and that's like the big thing that I want to do because once I edit that book, I can start sending it into publishers and actually getting this thing moving. But I'm probably gonna be like, I don't know, 40 before I publish a book at the earliest. I mean, if I start doing this now and it takes me like, I don't know, 10 months to edit the book, then I'll be 30. So, and it's really hard to get a book deal, um unless, like, with most people it takes over 10 years to get a book deal, and that's with having finished the book and been sending it into publishers for like 10 years at least. So I'm probably going to be 40. I'm probably going to be in my 40s by the time I publish a book. But, like, I'm fine with that. you know it's fine. Like, it's not a problem for me. I mean, I'm still gonna do all the stuff that I want to do. I'm still gonna, like, travel the world. I'm still gonna help people. I'm still gonna, like, buy my mom a house that she wants and buy her a new car that isn't a piece of junk. All of that kind of stuff. Get her out of debt if she has any, if she needs that. Number 18. Don't say things like, I suck at that. Say things like, I can improve in that area. Accept your faults, but also realize you can change if you put the work in. Don't feel bad about them, and don't constantly worry about your faults and be putting yourself down. And so I have a lot of self-esteem issues. I mean, I had I had a lot more before. I still have some self-esteem issues, but it's gotten much better and like a lot more I've been a lot more aware of the stuff I'm saying to myself and how I can improve on that and how, I shouldn't be constantly putting myself down and stuff and just worrying about all the bad things about me. So, yeah, everyone has faults, everyone messes up sometimes. It's okay to acknowledge that, but you shouldn't let it consume you or anything. Number 17, don't be so quick to jump on things. And this is about the tarantula that I bought and then got scammed by with, but also about like a lot of other things. I mean, there have been a couple of Facebook scams in the past. Like there was this one toy that I got scammed by, and then I had to actually go to Budsies and order one for like a couple $100 because I wasn't about to give up on this toy that I so desperately wanted. So I went ahead and just did that. But like, and I know people say like, "Oh, you should take every opportunity," but I think that it's better to think about things. Like, for example, I right after I found out I got scammed with that G Rosea, I was gonna go online and order my Bihamori and then, just go ahead and do that immediately. But I actually took some time to calm down and think about it for a bit. I mean, I still decided to order the Bihamori anyway, but I think it was important that I took a step back and I took some time to think about it instead of just doing whatever I wanted. And there have definitely been times in the past when I've just done what I've wanted because I was sad or I was lonely or I was feeling whatever. Like, I feel some negative emotions, so I'll just go out and buy something or I'll just do something without really thinking it through. And then, I'll just regret it later. Like, for example, when I went to the expo and I bought my millipedes and I also got a jumping spider because they were selling them for $5. So I figured, what's the harm? And I thought it would be like taking care of a tarantula. So I thought I already knew what I was doing, but it turns out I kind of didn't. And he died a couple months later. And also, wingless fruit flies have to be like special ordered in my area, so it was pretty expensive to get them. And so I really wish I'd done some research before I just bought a jumping spider. So now I know better than like just going out and buying an animal just because it's there. I mean, I've definitely had that issue in the past, like when I was 19 and I bought hermit crabs and I didn't know anything about them and I didn't know how to take care of them properly and stuff like that. And they didn't last long either. Like, they all died within a few weeks of each other. Like, I got 5 of them, by the way. They were having like a sale at the Upper Canada Mall, and I was 19. I was like a dumb kid, and I stupidly like talked my mom into buying hermit crabs literally because they were there and I wanted a pet. That was the only reason. I didn't do any research. I didn't know anything about them. Knowing what I know now, I would not just go out and buy an animal just because it's there. They actually need really specialized care, and it's really important to do your research before bringing home an animal. I actually think that's one of the points on my list. But anyway, like I'm saying, you should just do your research before you buy these animals. And yeah, and stuff like that. And same thing with the rabbit. I had a rabbit when I was a kid, and I have trauma from that. But when I was 19, I talked my mom into buying me a little bunny rabbit, which I should have thought it through. I should have thought about the consequences because I ended up having to like sell her a few months later. I think I had her for less than a year before I ended up selling her to someone because it just I should have thought about the consequences of my actions. That's another one of those things. Like, I should have thought about the fact that I had trauma from my past, but, I did learn a lesson from that too, and that lesson is I'm never going to get another pet that I had when my dad was still around because I have that kind of trauma and I'm never going to bring another pet into that situation to give them away, especially because pets like rabbits and birds and dogs, which are the three that I have trauma with that I had when I was a kid when my dad was still around, and they can all bond really strongly with their owners, and it's not fair to do that to any of them, to give them away after only having them for like a year and then having to give them away because I have trauma and I don't want to deal with that, and just not bringing another animal into that. And then there was the situation of me moving in with my sister. That was another dumb decision. I made it because she was in trouble. She wasn't going to have a place to live, and also, I really wanted my kitten, and I knew if I didn't move out, my mom would never let me bring the cat home. So I knew I had to move out in order to get the cat. So I moved out, and then not only did I have to give my cat away because I was in a really bad situation, but then I was stuck in a really bad situation with my sister. And yeah, everything worked out for the best in the end, but that's not always the case. And this is really the reason, like, if I hadn't had my mom looking out for me, I would have been a lot worse off. So, also, yeah, same. And, my mom's paying my rent right now. So I mean, I'm paying, I think, like 40% of my rent, and my mom is paying the majority of it, and she's essentially keeping me afloat right now. And my grandpa's helping out a little bit too. But, like, I'm lucky. I had people looking out for me, but a lot of people out there aren't so lucky. Okay. Number 16, do research before you get a pet, no matter what it is. There you go. And I know I just ordered a T Vagans without even knowing much about them, but like, I've been pumping out, I've been like doing research this whole time, and I actually have a few videos saved from some really trusted tarantula channels about how to take care of this specific tarantula. So I'm gonna watch the videos and I'm gonna do what they say to take care of this little guy, and make sure that he gets what he needs. Like, I didn't just buy a tarantula with no means of like research or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna do the research. I got it. I know what I'm doing. So don't worry about that. He's gonna be fine, and I'm gonna figure it out. Number 15. As an adult, understanding budgeting. Oh, actually, back to number 16, because I just remembered something else that I wanted to say. Anyway, so, essentially, like, some people think because a pet says low maintenance on the website that, like, it is it doesn't require research or whatever, and they can just like ask questions online and learn and as after they get the animal. And yeah, you should probably still do your research before you get the animal. Like, I mean, like I said with the jumping spider, I found out all this stuff about it, a bit like it needs a light and stuff. And there's also the matter of the wingless fruit flies, which are difficult to get in my area and need to be special ordered, and that's expensive. And this was when I didn't really have any money, so you know I I got the fruit flies. I figured it out, but like it was not something that I was super proud of, or not something that I would have done given the chance. Like, if I had known, if I buy this tarantula. And people think that just asking the person who works at the pet store, like if you buy a hamster or something and is good enough as far as research goes. This is another big mistake that a lot of people make, and it's not really their fault because the people at the pet store, not that there aren't any good pet store employees out there who actually try and help the person, but most of them kind of have a recycled script from what they got told when they were working there. Like, they'll just try and sell you whatever is like, if you go to the PetSmart, for example, they'll try and sell you their little tiny hamster cages that should not be sold as hamster cages. They have like an entire line that look like they're all like flashy colors, but they're really not good for the hamster. They're like really small and they're just too small. That's the main problem. And, they have some other issues. I don't know. If you guys really want to know, then go watch Munchie's Place. She has like she has this entire series where she reviews hamster cages and she reviews like the tiny toys or whatever, tiny tots or I don't know, whatever the fucking PetSmart line of cages is called. I don't remember the freaking name of it, but she reviews like the PetSmart hamster cages, like, the one that's shaped like a dinosaur and the one that's shaped like a princess castle and whatever. But, and most of them will try to sell you that, even though hamsters need a minimum of 450 square inches. So go out and find a cage that's like that and do your research. When I say do your research, I mean like watch YouTube videos, do like go online, read stuff, read some actually good articles about hamster care. Don't just trust anything that the employees at the pet store say because in a lot of cases it's just not the best advice. Not that it's exactly their fault. I mean, most of the time they're either told what to say or they, just trust their boss because he owns a pet store, so he should know what he's doing. Anyway, like, a lot of pets get neglected because they get very wrong information from the people at pet stores, or like, when someone's trying to rehome a pet, those can be pretty bad too, because you just ask the person rehoming them will sell them in like a tiny cage, or they won't, they won't do what's right for the animal, I guess is what they're saying. They just do what they think is right, and a lot of people who are rehoming their animals in bad conditions are not willing to listen to people who are actually knowledgeable and who actually want to help the animal. Some of them are willing to listen, but a lot of them are not. But seriously, no matter what you get as a pet, whether it's, I don't know, a cat or a bearded dragon or a tiny little spider, you should always do your research. Make sure you know what you're doing. Um, Number 15, as an adult, understanding budgeting, the value of money, and getting the best deals will suddenly become important. And this is something I learned, well, more recently. I've been buying my groceries since I was like, I think in my early 20s. I got it ever since I started getting ODSP checks, which I think was around my early to mid 20s, so maybe like 7 years. Let's just say like 7 years to cover it. Anyway, but basically, I do, in fact, try and budget the best I can for myself. Like, I'll try and be like, okay, I spent this much money at the grocery store, I have to spend this much money on, food for my tarantulas, I have to spend this much money on vegetables for my millipedes and snails, I have to feed them, so I buy them. I mean, I buy them fruits and vegetables at the grocery store, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, budgeting is important, but it's an invaluable tool, really. Like, if you don't have a budget, you should really budget your money out and be like, okay, I'm gonna spend about this much per month or per week or whatever. Like, I try and say, well, I'm gonna spend about $100 per week, so I don't know. And there are times when I go a little bit over my budget, but I am getting extra money this month, so I feel less likely that I have to worry about this month. And like, I keep track of what months I'm getting extra money and like how much extra money I'm getting and stuff so that I actually know what I'm doing. Like, I plan my budget so that I would have $150 away to put away for my snake. But then I ended up spending it on my Bihomori instead. The only way the only way I was able to do that, I can still I'm not worried about getting my snake by the summer. I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna make it work. But the thing was I was only able to do that through budgeting. Like basically I'm foregoing fast food. If you haven't seen my other video, I'm just foregoing fast food for pretty much an entire, well, at least 8 or 9 months at least, and possibly uh, I'm probably getting the snake in either May or June, so I'm not super concerned about that. But I budgeted it so that I was able to put enough money aside for my snake, so that I was able to get my Bihomori that I wanted and stuff. So I'm like really happy about that. And I didn't, like I said, I thought seriously about that decision before I made it. And they did have Chilean rosehair tarantulas. The problem is they're $300, and I didn't know if I would have enough money for one. So when I was planning, so the thing about the plan was I had to choose between possibly getting the Chilean rosehairs later, which they only had two, so it probably wasn't happening, and they were confirmed females, by the way. They were $300, which I only could have done if I had bought them next month, but I'm thinking they're not gonna be there next month, probably, so I am just going to leave that for what it is, and instead I decided to buy the Bihomori. Like, I sent them an email, I asked them some information so I could find out a little more. Like, I didn't know they only had two until they told me in their email. So I went with the. So sometimes I'll like wait and I'll go for the possible thing, but in this scenario, I decided to go for the thing that I knew, which was that they were $125. They were confirmed females. They were. Bihomori was the next tarantula I wanted anyway, and I also got a free tea bag and sling, like I said. So in this scenario, I chose the absolute instead of the possible later on, if that makes any. If you guys understand what I'm saying. Hopefully, I'm explaining myself correctly. But essentially, I decided to choose the one that I already had the money for right then. And, if they hadn't had the Chilean rose hairs next month, would I have still been able to get the Bihomori? Maybe they wouldn't have had any females left. They always have slings, but the thing is, number one, the slings are really delicate. Like I said, Artemis died my last sling, and I wasn't even expecting to get another sling. The only reason I got the T Vagans is because it came as a freebie, and but I'm happy to give the T Vagans a chance and see if it survives. But if I was just going out, like going to the expo, picking out my tarantulas that I wanted, I probably wouldn't be doing that. The other thing is, I don't know if they only provide freebies like on the website. I don't know if that's a thing. Like if walking into an expo, buying a tarantula, and then getting to pick out a freebie is a thing. But anyway, this way I get two tarantulas, and this way I know I'm getting what I want, which is what I already planned for. And yes, originally I was going to wait until February, but these ones are smaller, cheaper, and confirmed females. So with all that said, yes, I went ahead with the tarantula purchase, but I thought it through. That's all I'm saying. I thought about it. Like, I made my decision based on everything, and budgeting really helped with that. But yes, and my mom and I are also doing like price matching and stuff right now, and she'll help me like find stuff on sale or find the best price or whatever with her knowledge of price matching, because I'm not very good at it. Unlike her, I don't really know what it is or how to do it. But yeah, it's really important. And when I say the value of money, thing is, my dad used to just spend money like crazy when I was a kid, and I didn't find out until much later, like in my 20s, that my dad actually put us into a ton of debt. And, when you're a kid, You don't think about that. You don't think about that as a kid. You don't think like, what is this costing and can we afford this? You're just like, ooh, we get to go Niagara Falls in a limo and I get to buy a bunch of candy. That actually happened. That's based on a true story. But anyway, like, but when you actually realize the value of money and you're actually like, okay, realistically, can I afford this? And also, another tip. Just because saying I can afford this is different from saying I have the money in my account. Like, I have about $200 in my account right now. So, I had if I had put the 150, well, this is after paying for my beef mori. So, I could have bought the Chilean rose hair, but then I would have been eating ramen for the rest of the month, and I probably wouldn't have been going to the movies. Um, so, yes, I had the money, but that doesn't mean I could afford a rose hair tarantula. We're right at the beginning of the month, and I have to buy groceries, and I have to go to the movies, and there's other stuff like there's something that I have to pay my mom back for, and, possibly getting my money back through PayPal. There's that too. But anyway, I think we need to move on to the next thing. This is going to be a really long video. 14. Acknowledge your fears and worries are valid, but don't let them consume or overtake you. This is kind of a big one for me, and it's really hard to do, especially when I'm having, like, health issues, which is basically all the time or whatever. Like, if I'm having health issues, or if I'm worried about my sister, or if I'm worried about something that's happening in my area, like, I read an article that there's a lot of break ins going on in York region, that kind of freaking me out. But, like, if I think about it, then you try not to think about those things. Yes, your fears are valid. I am allowed to be a little bit freaked out by the fact that there's all these break-ins. But if I just thought about it all the time, I would just be consumed by fear and worry, and I would not want to get out of bed, and I would not want to do anything, and I would just, like, wither away. So essentially, yeah, you just don't think about your fears all the time. Just be like, okay, I'm worried about this right now. And also, your worries will pass. And, like, maybe soon I'll read an article about they caught the person that was doing all the break-ins in York Region, and then I'll feel better about that. Like, bad things happen, but then they pass. And this is okay. The next one's kind of a lighter one. This has been kind of a crazy list with a lot of intense stuff on it, but this next one's kind of a much lighter one. Number 13. Bring a list with you to the grocery store. That thing you think you won't forget, trust me, you will. Or you'll forget something else. I did not learn this lesson at first. It took me a while. Like, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna forget that, so I won't bother putting it on the list. Or, I forgot my list, but my mom and I can remember it. And then, you drive home and you're like, oh, I forgot that thing. Damn it, I forgot that one thing. That one thing that I was supposed to get. Like, I forgot bread, or I forgot juice, or whatever. Like, and I already eat so little stuff anyway that feeding myself is a challenge because of how my taste buds are, and I'm, like, super sensitive to taste and texture and all kinds of stuff. So, you imagine feeding yourself, it's already tricky, and then, not bringing a list and forgetting a couple of things, and sometimes I would think, oh, well, I shouldn't bring a grocery list because I only need a couple of things. But nope, I learned my lesson on that. I brought a grocery list um a couple of weeks ago that only had like three things on it because I was like, well, I don't want to forget these things. And, like, even when I'm sitting writing the grocery list, I'm like, oh, what was that thing that I was supposed to put on the grocery list? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember what it was. There was this one thing that I was supposed to write on the grocery list, and then, like, 20 minutes later, when I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich or something, I'll suddenly remember what it was, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the thing. And then I have to, like, run back in the room, and by the time I get back in the room, I've already forgotten what it was. So then I have to wait till it comes to me again. Number 12, don't trust anything you see. Don't trust everything you see online, whether it's someone selling something or a news article. And yes, I will admit this took me a while because the last time what happened with the doll a couple of years back, I said, "Oh, well, okay, this time I've learned my lesson. I won't get scammed again." And then guess what? I bought the tarantula and I got freaking scammed again. And the guy was probably selling her for 135 because they knew some idiot would just jump on the opportunity to get a Chilean rose hair for pennies on the dollar because of how freaking expensive they are. Guess what? Some idiot did. It was me. I can probably get my money back through PayPal. I'm gonna give it my best shot at least. But, even if I don't get my money back, I will be okay. Even though it sucks. Like, if I'm at $135, yes, that will suck. But it's like, you know, whatever. Stuff happens, you make mistakes, and then you learn from them. Or if you're me, you make the same mistake over and over and over. I'm only kidding. But seriously, don't trust everything you see online. Always question things. Always ask lots of questions. I mean, I asked the guy to send me pictures of her. Probably should have figured out how to reverse Google image search and Google image search and use the reverse Google image search to put the pictures of her and see if they popped up. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I figured he was giving me a tracking number. He was giving me pictures of her. He was giving me everything I asked for without much struggle. And I figured, if he wasn't actually selling a tarantula, why would he give me a tracking number? Why would he go through all this trouble to, talk to me, ask me questions, make sure that I got the tracking number, make sure I got everything I needed? Why would he even keep talking to me after I gave him the money, right? Because that would be. I don't know, whatever. It's all just really stupid. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it wasn't a scam. I mean, the chances of that are tiny. Like, the chances of that are minuscule. I'm just saying, if I had given him the $255 that he asked for that was going to be refunded later that day, would I have gotten a tarantula? Probably not. There was a tiny chance that I would have, but, you know, if I would have, I don't know. If I had gotten the tarantula, I guess, I don't know. There was a tiny chance that I would have, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's very, very, very unlikely, and I'm not giving him any more money anyway. It doesn't matter because I'm not going to continue buying the tarantula from him. But, man, I don't know. It's just really dumb, and, you know, and, anyway. All I'm saying is, if I had sent him the $255, there's a teeny, teeny, tiny chance that I would have actually gotten a tarantula. It probably wouldn't have happened, but I don't know. Was he actually selling a tarantula? And he didn't come looking for me, by the way. Like, I found him because he was in one of my tarantula groups making a very open post about how he had tarantulas that he was looking to get rehomed, and one of them happened to be the Chilean rose hair. So I was the one who messaged him first asking about. Anyway, whatever. Look, all I'm saying is, anyway. 11. Number 11. It's okay to have bad feelings as long as you express them in a healthy way. Yeah. So, hitting a pillow is okay. Hitting your mom is not okay. Like, screaming into a pillow is okay. Screaming fuck you at your mom is not okay. All based on real examples, by the way. Sorry, mom. But, I've been learning a lot more healthy ways to express my anger. I've been, feeling a lot less angry. My mom and I talk about stuff now. I mean, I don't just yell mean things at her. I mean, a lot less than I did, at least. I can't remember the last time I did something like that, though. Number 10. Pets don't live forever, but the memories do. So, you may have a dog that only lives for 10 years or something, but it was friggin' amazing, and you loved that dog, and you miss them every single day, and they taught you how to love again, and you'll never forget that. And I am completely talking about me because Dasher broke through my trauma, and even though I can't be the primary owner of a dog, he taught me how to love a dog again and that I shouldn't let my trauma ruin something amazing in my life. And I'm really, really happy that he did that. And yeah, he was around for like 10 years. We got him, yeah, we got him when I was like 16, and then he died in 2020. I was like 20, 26. Yeah, 26. Or like, no, I was turning 26 in a few months. He died in March. He was put down in March, so. But yeah, I have pictures of him on my phone. I have all sorts of memories of, him and being a great dog and getting licked by him. He was awesome. I loved him, man. I really did. And he taught me one of the most important lessons I have ever learned, which isn't on this list, but I was realizing it should have been, but I could only do 29, so maybe next time. But yeah, some you can't let your trauma ruin something great for you. Like I know I'm never gonna be I can't own a dog again, but that has nothing to do with how much I love Dasher or how much I appreciate every dog that's in my life and the dogs that I come across or, the dogs that I just see out on the streets. And also my senior ratties, they died but I was super happy because I could give them a great life for the last few months of their lives. They were fantastic. I loved them. I'll never forget them. I want rats again. I need to be in subsidized housing though for that to happen. So it's gonna be a couple years at least. But I need a door. That's the thing. I need a door. I need a door between the snake and the rats so that at least the rats can't smell the snake. But that'll be great. Anyway, I'm super happy that I don't have my pets with me. Same with Artemis. He didn't last very long, but I do have a lot of pictures of him, and I love him, and he was my first tarantula, and I'll never forget that. And same with all my other pets. And, even though my kitten didn't die, I did have to give her away to the shelter, which was really unfortunate, but I have pictures of her. She will be remembered fondly, and she was my first cat, and that is a really special thing. Number 9, there's no shame in asking for help. I guess the time I learned that was, I want to say when my mom started paying my rent while I was living here, but it was actually a lot more recently. It was only a couple of months ago, I think. I think it was maybe a month or so ago. It was whenever the last expo that we went to was. I think it was in early September. The one that I got jalapeno at. Yeah, September, right? It was September. I think it was September. Okay, it was either the end of August or like early September. But either way, it was the one that I got jalapeno at, and we had a lot of fun. And there was this incident there where we were supposed to go to the other exit, but then my mom asked if we could just go out here because her child, me, had mobility issues. And actually, it wasn't. Actually, I didn't like it when my mom first said it, but then a couple weeks later, Marshall and I were at the movies, and he told me that I shouldn't be ashamed of having these mobility issues, and that I should be able to ask for help. Shouldn't feel bad about asking for help, and that I should be able to have my needs accommodated or whatever. I mean, not in like a bitchy way, not in like a Karen way, but like, just in general. Like, when you're in a wheelchair, there's a wheelchair stall because you should have your needs accommodated. There you go. There's a wheelchair stall just for you. Number 8, make time for what you love. it's okay if you have work or you have something else going on or you have important stuff that you gotta do, but you should still make time for your hobbies. Like, if you have a job, your entire life shouldn't be dedicated to this job that you hate. And, you should still find time to, I don't know, watch your favorite shows, read your favorite books, spend time with friends, whatever you feel like doing, whether it's going to a movie by yourself or, I don't know, going to a party or something. This video is over an hour long. Number 7, there's nothing wrong with a quiet life at home. Living your life doesn't have to mean going out to parties and drinking every night. That's like a big deal. Like for me, my idea of a great night is just chilling at home, being comfy in my PJs, watching TV, like watching whatever I decide to watch on one of my subscriptions. Like, I'm not the kind of person who goes out to parties, who goes out drinking and clubbing, and who goes out with friends every night and goes crazy. And no, I don't want to do that. I want to chill at home. I want to work on my writing. I want to record a YouTube video. I want to whatever. Like, and people will say, "Oh, you should seize the day. You should seize the opportunity. You should do this." And it's like, well, okay, I don't have to have the same idea of a fun time as you do. Like, to me, going clubbing is fucking anxiety inducing. I don't want to go out and do that. No, I want to chill at home and watch Friends. That's my idea of a good time. Leave me alone. Let me eat my M&Ms and watch Friends in peace. That is what I want to do, okay? I don't have to do what you do. Like, you don't have to do the same things that other people do just because other people do them. And I hate people that think that your idea of fun should be the same as their idea of fun, and they look down on you for not doing the same things that they do in their life. Oh, alright. Last page. Number 6, don't be afraid to cut toxic people from your life, no matter who they are. This is a really important one. I mean, my dad kind of cut himself out of my life, but this became clear to me much more recently. If you guys know me, you know what that last February I had to cut my sister out of my life because she was acting like a complete asshole because she treats me like garbage. She refuses to take responsibility. She refuses to talk to me about anything. She refuses to treat me like a person or treat me with respect. And I apologize to her. I try and show her that I love her. I try and do everything nice for her. She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to see it. She doesn't want to know about it. I literally tried to apologize to her and she just basically told me to go to hell. So that is when I cut her out of my life. I did this thing that she didn't like that I'm not going to get into, but I didn't know she didn't like it, obviously. And as soon as I found out she didn't like it, I tried to apologize, I tried to fix it, but she just basically sent me really mean, increasingly abusive messages. And I blocked her because I didn't want to text angry, but also I didn't want to hear. And then, like, a few days later, I actually wrote her a long letter, which she may not even have read, and sent it to her explaining that I was cutting her out of my life because she treats me like shit. I mean, I didn't write it that way in the letter, but yeah. So don't be afraid to cut family members out if they treat you like garbage because you need to take care of your mental health. I and taking care of my mental health, and my sister does not fit into that equation. So I literally tried everything. I tried for 27 years to reach out to her, to be there for her, to be a sibling, and she just doesn't want to hear it. So fine. You know what? If you don't want to, and my mom and I have talked about what's been happening with my sister recently, and My mom said that she doesn't remember that she says I never apologized for that thing that she wanted me to apologize for, so I sent a text to my mom to send to her saying that I was truly sorry and stuff like that, and then my sister got all pissy about it. She said that she said that if I had anything to say to her, I could say it to her myself, and that I should not have to, um, and that she doesn't want to talk about it anymore, and she was all pissy about it. So I unblocked her from my cell phone. I sent her a message basically saying that she doesn't treat me with respect, and I don't like that anymore, and that, yeah, I don't want her in my life. And I also added, I love you in the message, but I also said, I don't know if you're going to receive this or not, or be receptive to it. And she was not receptive to it. She thinks that I hate her now. And then I we blocked her. So my mom told me essentially what she said, and she was pretty pissed off. And she said, and my mom also said something about she said she wants to repair the relationship or something. But the thing is, even if I was interested in repairing the relationship, which I feel it's way too soon, but even if I wanted, she's only been out of my life for like a year and a half or so, maybe slightly longer since it's October now, and I cut her out last February. But my point is, even if I was ready for that, she is not ready to realize that she's done things wrong in this relationship too, or take responsibility for her actions, or just do what needs to be done, like going to family therapy and fixing our issue and talking things through with a therapist to actually fix our issues. So no, I'm not going to talk to her, and I am not going to even discuss repairing the relationship until I think that she's ready to actually talk things out and have a discussion and, deal with her problems like adults. Because until she's ready to go to therapy, I'm not even gonna talk to her. I'm not involving myself in that shit again. I'm not putting myself in that position. So I'm really glad that she acted all pissed off at my message, because that showed me that she's not ready to change, and now I don't have to feel bad about not having her in my life, at least for a few, I don't know, it's gonna take me a while. It, I feel like it'll take a couple more years until I'm even ready to discuss anything with her, to discuss any of this with her. But the reactions that she gave my mom showed that whatever her issue is, it's clearly with me. Because my mom talks a lot about, oh, she's gotten so much better and she's acting so much nicer, but she's acting so much nicer to my mom. She's not acting nicer to me. She's still treating me like garbage, which is shown by the last response that my mom got from her that she basically told to me. So that shows me that she's not ready. She's not ready to do the necessary work to repair this relationship, even though she's the one that wants to repair it. So, no, I'm not gonna do that. I know that one got kind of long, but I needed to have a real discussion about everything that happened with my sister, and I just. I guess I just needed to get it out there because, the few weeks ago, that last thing that happened with my sister, that's what I needed to talk about, just to have some closure with that. But I do have closure with the fact that I'm not going to have a relationship with her. Number 5, there's no shame in taking care of your own mental and physical health first. In fact, that's exactly what you should be doing. So do whatever it takes to take care of your mental health, and don't be afraid to do what you need to do, including cutting toxic people out, or, other things that you might need to do that if your mental health isn't good, then you can't really do, you can't function in the world. Number 4, you can make your own decisions in life, but you also have to deal with the consequences. This is another one that was kind of about the tarantula, but was also about other things. But yeah, mainly about the tarantula. But I definitely thought this was good advice. For example, if you are an adult, you can go out and spend your money however you like, but if you buy hundreds of dollars worth of books and then you have no money left for food, then, well, guess what? You have no money left for food. You have to, I don't know, go to the food bank or whatever, or a soup kitchen. Like, you gotta figure something else out. That's why I talked about budgeting earlier and, like, managing your money responsibly. Because you can still treat yourself. Like, there's nothing wrong with treating yourself as an adult. Like, I've been able to find ways to treat myself while still keeping to my budget and, being able to do that, and that's good. Number three, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And this is definitely one that you've heard over and over and over and over, but that's because it's true. It's so true, and I'm not just talking about pets, I'm also talking about family members. Like your grandparents, they're probably going to die before you. Let's be real. I mean, unless something happens, you never know. You could have a heart attack tomorrow. Like, look, I'm not saying this to I'm not meaning for that to be bad. I'm just saying, like, no, love your family, even if they're much older than you, and, yeah, they're probably going to die before you, but that's just the case with things in life. Some people only last a certain amount of time on this earth, and people are going to die inevitably. That is what happens. People and animals you love are going to die inevitably. It's your choice if you're going to just not get close to anyone and be lonely your entire life, or if you're going to love people and then, you know, and loving them for a brief time is way better than loving them for a brief time and then being sad when they go is way better than just not letting anyone into your life or into your heart and just not getting close to anyone. Because I'm going to tell you, that hurts more than anything. So, love the people that you care about. South Park actually has a great episode on this. It's about a breakup, not like a death in the family, but it applies here too, where Butters is talking about his breakup with the goth kids and with Stan, and he's essentially saying that the only way he could feel this bad is if he felt something really good before. And I'd rather have that really good feeling. And you know what? Even after they die, it's still kind of a bittersweet feeling because you have those memories of that time with them, and you have photos, and you have the stories that they told you, this great all this great stuff. Just all these great feelings, and yeah, you're sad that they're gone, but you're also happy that you loved them and that you had them and you have all those awesome times together. Because I'll tell ya, when my grandpa leaves this earth, I'm gonna be so happy that I have so many great memories of my time together with him. I'm gonna be so happy, like, just even thinking about being there over the last Christmas break, even though that was almost a year ago now. It was so fun. I seriously had such a great time. Just like eating dinner with him and just hanging out with the family. Man, that was awesome. I so enjoyed that. And I love Grandpa, and that's going to be a memory that I'll treasure forever, along with all the other memories that I have of him. Because I've got dozens of weekend visits with Grandpa, like before he went into the care home. And I'm sure I'm going to have more memories when I go visit him in the care home again. I don't know when that's going to be, but he's. I know he's gonna leave at some point, and I know he's gonna be gone, and I'm gonna be sad, but I'm also gonna be really, really happy because I got to know him and he's an amazing person and I'm so lucky to have had him in my life. I know this video is really long. I promise we're getting to the end. Number two, life is full of surprises. I actually got this line directly from Happy Gilmore because when I was in the middle of making the list, I went to the bathroom and I was watching Happy Gilmore at the time. And you know that one scene where Happy Gilmore is talking about how everything is going great with his dad, and then he says, but life is full of surprises because his dad gets hit in the head with a baseball and dies? Yeah, that's where I got that from. Happy freaking Gilmore. I love that movie. Man, I love that movie. But, I haven't been able to get to it because I canceled my Crave. But like I said, I'm getting my month's worth, so I watched Happy Gilmore because I love that movie, and I was so happy to be able to watch it again. Anyway, so I literally pulled that line directly from the movie, but yeah, it's true. Life is full of surprises. You never know what's gonna happen. For instance, we were supposed to go to the bed and breakfast for a couple of nights. This is over the Christmas holidays that I'm talking about with my extended family. They were all staying at a bed and breakfast, and me and my mom were gonna go up. And we were supposed to stay for a couple of nights, but then there was a freaking blizzard. And my mom and I actually felt really unsafe going out in that, so we decided to wait, which my mom was like really on board with. And I actually said that I wanted to wait first, but then she was like really relieved that I said that. She was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I was thinking the exact same thing. I don't think it's safe." And guess what? We went there and we didn't die and we had a really fun time, even though we only got to stay for one night. But it was actually also a nice surprise because I had a good time with the family, but like being in the bed and breakfast was really uncomfortable. It was like a lot of smells and just weird feelings, and I hated it. It was just not. Mm, no, I don't like it. Anyway, number one is the most important thing and once I say it, you're gonna realize that actually all of us have learned this lesson, especially over the last couple years. Things change, and you can't change that. There's no changing that the world is going to change and life is going to change. I mean, everything that I talked about was about change. You're going to grow up. You're going to need to deal with your money. You're going to have to cut people out. You're going to have to figure out how to make your own decisions. People are going to die. People are going to leave you. They're not going to be around forever. You know? You're going to get pets, you're going to have bad feelings. All of this stuff, whether it's good or bad, is the result of change. Even the tiniest of changes, like if you get a new toaster and then you have to figure out exactly how to use this toaster to get your toast exactly the way you like your old toaster did. That's change. That's a result of change. Everything is changing constantly. I mean, even getting out of bed is a change because you're transitioning from your bed to, being up and being a part of the world and being in the living and not being in bed anymore. Leaving the house is a change. It's a change of scenery. And, there's new smells and new sounds, and you're around a bunch of people, all of which you don't know. And you don't know if they're going to be sweet to you or if they're going to be total dicks. I mean, someone might be really mad at you and be an asshole, or someone else might treat you really nice. Someone might offer to pay for your groceries. You don't know what's going to happen. But I think I have to say the biggest change has been these last couple years because ever since 2020, man, the world has been insane. And I am dealing with so much change myself, and it's actually been really helping me out with future changes that I know are coming in life because sometimes things are just really sudden and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to plan it. Like, my mom can give me change of routine cards if she knows she's going on a trip and she can say, well, we'll just watch TV another day for a couple of hours. But she can't give me a change of routine card saying all of a sudden there's going to be a pandemic and you're going to be stuck living with me for 2 years. Not that I was stuck, not that I felt stuck. It was actually really, really nice. I mean, definitely wasn't what I expected. I expected to be moved out. I expected to be living on my own, but let's be real, no way my sister would have let me have a tarantula in the house. And since I moved back in with my mom, things went really great, and I feel like she understood my stance on not wanting a roommate, and that's why she's paying my rent and helping me out so I can live here by myself. And this is just temporary for a couple of years tops until I can get subsidized housing. Like, this is until I get subsidized housing. I'm here and I'm safe and I'm happy and I'm good and I have my tarantulas, I got my pets, I got everything I wanted. I'm super happy. Well, I still want a snake, but you know what I mean. Never would have had a tarantula before while I was living with my mom, but now I do. So, yeah, good changes are happening. Some good changes will happen. Some bad changes will happen. And you just gotta, you just gotta go with it sometimes. Like, you just gotta be like, okay, this thing happened. What's the best way I can get through this? Rather than just, giving up and dying. Like, I mean, if we all had just decided to give up during COVID when that happened, man, the world would be a steaming husk. But we didn't give up because we're better than that. We're strong and we're tenacious and we can get through anything. And I'm pretty sure that's basically exactly what they said in the South Park COVID special, but they were right. I mean, we're pretty strong. I mean, we're stronger together, which was more difficult back in 2020 and 2021, but my point is stuff happens and things are constantly changing, and no matter what you do, things are going to keep changing. So the best thing you can do is find a way through it. And definitely COVID has helped me a lot in dealing with future changes that are going to happen and just not stressing as much. I mean, sometimes I'm not gonna act like I'm just completely okay with all changes from now until the end of forever because, I still get stressed out when my mom is like, oh, can we do this a different day even though we agreed on this beforehand? Or, like, trying to get her to do something or stressing out when something doesn't happen the way it should or whatever. I don't know. Like, things still happen. My problem is the thing is, if unplanned things happen, that's fine. But if it can be planned, it should be planned beforehand. And if my mom makes a plan with me, then that's the plan, and that's our plan, and she doesn't get to try and change the plan last minute based on a real life example. Anyway, another change that's gonna happen is that I have to go to bed, and it's late. I mean, it's only 8:20, but I don't know. Feels pretty late. Anyway, so I am going to I'm gonna post a couple more videos over the next couple weeks, and I'm probably also going to read a few more chapters of A Guardian Angel as well. So I will make sure to post when I do that. That's gonna be really fun. I'm really excited about that. Um, I'm also just waiting for my tarantula to get here, which is gonna be in a few days at the most, so I might just not record any videos until that happens. We'll see. But, for now, I'm gonna go and, um, I'm gonna upload a few smaller videos, and I'm planning to also upload a couple chapters of A Guardian Angel, but I want to put out an analytical video about the show Friends because I love it so much, and I just feel like I want to put out a video about it. And there was this great video that I thought of last night. I'm not gonna put the title because I don't want to spoil it, but it's about Friends, and I want to share my observations with you guys. So this has been 29 lessons that I've learned in 29 years, and I hope you guys take a little something from this. Anyway, I will introduce my tarantulas when I get them, and I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourselves. You are valid. Please don't forget to be good to yourself and to others, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye.